can do heavy lifting with her.
You know, to do some neck exercises. Right? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balaba Girivanadari Gopi Jana Balaba Girivanadari Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanacharya Yamuna Tira Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanacharya Yamuna Tira Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Prabhudakacharya Asadhara Sadushi Shiman His Divine Grace Shalasi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hariva Slava Zabrani Bhaktam Slava Shri Guru Shri Gaurangi Om Agyana Tivanandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Vrijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shiva Sakans Vitam Scha Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabando Jagapate, Gopesha Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namosute, Tapta Kanchena Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vrishubhanu Sutadevi, Pranamami Hari Priye, Vanchakapa Truvyastra, Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha, Patidanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Krishna is the source of all incarnations, Text 21. Tatak saptadashe jata Satyavatyam Parasharat Chakre Veda Taro Shaka Drishva Pumso Pamedasa Tatak Sapta Dashe Jata Satyavatya Parasharat Chakre Veda Taro Shaka Drishva Pumsa Pamedasa Veda Taro Shaka Drishva Pumsa Pamedasa Tatak Sampaya Okay. Tata. Thereafter. Saptadashe. In the 17th incarnation. Jata. Advented. Satyavatyam. In the womb of Satyavati. Parasharat. By Parashara Muni. Chakre, prepared. Veda Taro, of the desire tree of the Vedas. Shaka, branches. Drishva, be seeing. Pumsa, the people in general. Alpamedasa, less intelligent. Translation and purport by Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Thereafter, in the 17th incarnation of Godhead, Shri Vyasadeva appeared in the womb of Satyavati through Parashara Muni. And he divided the one Veda into several branches and sub-branches, seeing that the people in general were less intelligent. Please repeat. Thereafter, in the 17th incarnation of Godhead, Shri Vyasadeva appeared in the womb of Satyavati through Parashara Muni, and he divided the one Veda into several branches and sub-branches, seeing that the people in general were less intelligent. Purport. Originally, the Veda is one, but Srila Vyasadeva divided the original Veda into four, namely Sama, Yajura, Rig, Atharva. And then again they were explained in different branches like the Puranas and the Mahabharata. Vedic language and the subject matter are very difficult for ordinary men. They are understood by the highly intelligent and self-realized brahmanas. But the present age of Kali is full of ignorant men. Even those who were born by Brahmana father are in the present age no better than the Shudras or the women. The twice-born men, namely the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas, are expected to undergo a cultural purificatory process known as samskaras. But because of the bad influence of the present age, the so-called members of the Brahmana and other high-order families are no longer cultured. They are called the Dvija Bandhus, or the friends and family members of the twice-born. But these Dvija Bandhus are classified among the Shudras and the women. Srila Vyasadeva divided the Vedas into various branches and sub-branches for the sake of the less intelligent classes, like the Dvija Bandhus, Shudras, and women. Thereafter, in the 17th incarnation of Godhead, Srila Vyasadeva appeared in the womb of Satyavati through Parashara Muni, and he divided the one Veda into several branches and sub-branches, seeing that the people in general were less intelligent. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane, Namaste Saraswatunde Ve Gauravani Pracharane, Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskadyade Satarane. In the very beginning of the Bhagavatam, before this verse, it was said, Prayena yapa shabdya kalavasmin yugejana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya upadrutaha. Prayena, almost always, alpa means less or small. Ayusha, lifespan. Shabdya, O learned members of the assembly, Prayena yalpasha shabdya kalavasmin yugejana. People in this age, they're short-lived, almost always. And manda, they're lazy. Lazy, especially for spiritual knowledge, spiritual realization. They're not so lazy. Of course, some of them are quite lazy even for material life. But many people are still in the mode of passion, but they're not interested in getting out of the material concept of life because they want to get more into the material concept of life. They're not sufficiently, they think their problem is not that they're in the material concept of life, they think their problem is that they don't have enough sense gratification. Or if they have enough sense gratification, well, that includes defending. So, no matter how much money they get, no matter how much sense gratification they get, there's always an anxiety that they can't protect what they have enough. 5 locks on the door is not sufficient, plus the armed robots all around the house, plus the one-way video camera, plus 9/11, plus the stock of guns and bazookas they have in their house, in case some stray cat gets in. it's never sufficient in order to feel protected. Because after all, no matter what we do in order to protect ourselves, because ultimately, according to the Bhagavatam, Deha patya kalatradishu atmasaneshva satsupi tesham pramato nidanam pashanapi sapashiti. The whole idea, nidriya riyate naktam vavavayena chavavayam divya charate heyarajan katumba bharanenava. That during the day, Shukadeva Goswami says that people are, well, at night, nidriya, at night, nidriya riyate naktam, they're sleeping. Sometimes. Sometimes people wake up at night and they sleep during the day. In any case, the night is generally meant for sleeping, or vavayena chavavayam, or they want to have sex life at night. And divya charate rajan, and during the day, the kutumba bharanenava, they're working to buy things for their house, to decorate it or protect it, whatever, to build up their kingdom. The kingdom is meant to, according to Shukadeva Goswami, the deha, the body, deha apatya, the children, and kaladra, the wife. What are they? They're atma sanyeshu. They're the soldiers to protect us. The wife cooks, hopefully nice prasadam, to keep the body healthy and strong, so we can live practically forever. The children grow up and become doctors and lawyers in case there's a court case, or if I get sick, they'll save me. So many attempts to preserve this body, and yet everyone dies anyhow. Not only everyone dies, but we can't avoid, those are the main miseries: birth, death, old age, and disease, jara, marana, mokshaya, or janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, dukkha, dosha, and darshanam. Those are the main miseries. And all this material advancement, has it really done anything at all to stop these miseries? Is the taller the building means that you get so high you're practically in heaven? And the Yamadutas, they don't have an airplane, so they can't go so high, so you're protected from death. And when you're high in the air, then old age doesn't affect you, or disease. And you won't have to take birth again in some species of life. Because people in Europe and America, they're exempt from having to transmigrate. They're guaranteed at least a birth in Europe again. Hopefully Slovenia. No, there's no guarantee. In any case, even if we go up to Brahmaloka, still there's old age, disease, and death. There's no progress, really. Still, they want to make some progress, so therefore they're working hard. But it's useless. Shrama eva hi kevalam. So, people are less intelligent in this age. Sometimes we say women are less intelligent, but everyone's less intelligent. Because everyone is in the bodily concepts of life, working hard to enjoy this world, or to prevent our having to transmigrate to another one. So everyone is less intelligent, because no matter how skillful they are in whatever they're doing, there's no progress at all. They're not doing anything beneficial for themselves. But they don't believe in themselves. They only believe in the external world. They don't believe that there's a soul that they should have any interest in. If you tell people, chant Hare Krišna, it'll help your soul, what they'll think is you're talking about my mind. Because they have no idea what the soul is. Nor do they care. If you ask them to give €5 for a book about the soul, they'll think you're nuts. Why should I waste my money on a book about the soul? But if you say, well, here's a book for 50 euros about pornography, they say, I'll take 2 of them. That's actually important. So, Srila Vyasadeva had to break up the Vedas into bite-sized pieces so that somehow or another attract people to hear something about reality. Therefore, the Mahabharata is full of romance and intrigue, politics, wars. And if you get, by the time you get up to the Bhagavad Gita, you're practically done. So you might as well read that too. Although you might get contaminated by reading the Bhagavad Gita. Still, let's get through it, see what this Krishna wants us to hear. So we can get on to the rest of the story. The final of the battle. The real essence of the Mahabharata. Brahmastras and all kinds of weapons. That's where it's at. Anyhow, Srila Vyasadeva has put a little bit of spiritual elevation in the midst of a whole lot of moral stories, how to live, at least to come to the mode of goodness. And if you don't do that, what happens to all these people who didn't follow the principles? Story into story into story into story, so that you get lost after a while. But you realize it's not a good idea to go against the laws of nature. Becoming a ghost is not very enjoyable. Or to enter into the lowest species of life, at least in the previous age especially, it didn't take very much. People had to become quite strict. And now people have no idea what they're getting themselves into in their next lifetime. Nor do they care. Nor do they appreciate those who care. They think they're disturbances. Some people may think we're interesting. They feel good about us because they think, well, people think I'm weird, but look at these people. They think I'm disturbed or I'm a failure, but look at them. They're going on the street and they still wear the same bed sheets that you use at night. They don't even change. They have no money whatsoever. They're all wearing the same clothes. Probably they're hand-me-downs from their whatever. So people have Natevidu Swartikatim Hi Vishnu Darashaya Bahir Arthamanina. They have no idea what the goal, that Krishna is the goal of life. And generally we don't tell them very much about Krishna at first, because then they'll even think that these people, I thought they were crazy, but they're completely insane. God is a cowherd boy. And what does he do? He herds cows eternally. Not only that, but he drinks milk. How can, even if he has a spiritual body, how could he survive drinking milk? Milk is for the calves. It's not for human beings. So we don't tell people. Of course, sometimes they tell people right away, at least in India, or even here, that Krishna, he has a girlfriend. Oh, I guess he's somewhat normal. Not only that, but he has millions of girlfriends. And most of them are married. Well, this person's really up to date. I don't know how he takes care of millions of girlfriends. We just have, the thing he has is a bunch of cows. But anyhow, it's all right. Somehow or another, none of them have children by him, so he doesn't have to work so hard. Not only that, but they work for him. So this is really ideal. They cook for him. I mean, not only they cook for him, but all day long they're cooking for him. They make garlands for him, they dance for him, they do everything for him. So this is not so bad. Their philosophy is not 100% bad. It's just when you get into books like Bhagavad Gita, which make no sense, because Krishna is claiming he's God, the supreme God, and the only God. Anyhow, he's a little puffed up and arrogant, but anyhow, I guess when he has so many wives, girlfriends, I guess that goes to your head after a while. So, anyhow, we can forgive him. But his stories are interesting. You can tell them to the children at night, full of they must have been, Vyasadeva must have been in the Himalayas smoking those herbs that were all around him. He came up with wonderful pastimes for the children. Demons in the form of horses and bulls, whirlwinds. This is the original fables. So, not so bad. Therefore, we have to start with things like Mahabharata and other types of literature, and the Puranas, because the Puranas are full of interesting stories. And when people hear interesting stories, then they think, well, this is entertaining at least. It may not be true, but at least we're being entertained. Still, if they hear the word Krishna, they become benefited. If they hear the names of the Supreme Lord and his devotees, they become benefited. And then if they hear about morality, maybe they'll think twice before performing sinful activities. Of course, twice is not enough for most people. They have to think at least 10 times. And then they might consider what the reaction might be. In any case, Srila Vyasadeva expertly divided up the Vedas, and he gave us ultimately the Bhagavad Gita. And of course, if people don't want to read the Bhagavad Gita, they think, well, this is too philosophical. Maybe we should write something less philosophical, more user-friendly for the people who don't like philosophy. Prabhupada wasn't into that very much. He didn't agree with it. That we shouldn't tell people they're not their body, it's too complicated. Yes, it's a fact. People have a hard time understanding they're not their body. And therefore, even Varnashram, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna he starts with that, but he goes through a process of realizing it, beginning with karma yoga, jnana yoga, stanga yoga, all based upon Varna and ashram. But if people won't accept Varna and ashram, then they're animals. An animal will not be able to understand very easily what is Krishna consciousness. Therefore, if people can't accept Bhagavad Gita, there are other books Prabhupada wrote, which are explanations of Bhagavad Gita, like perfect question, perfect answers, knowledge of the Absolute, which is the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. But somehow or another, some intelligent idea has to be supplied, or else just hearing pastimes may bring one to the platform of understanding that the Hare Krišna movement is not so bad. There's some nice things in it. But unless people understand the philosophy of the soul, of karma, of transmigration, of the modes of nature, then they can't really make any progress, really, very much progress towards the goal of life. And even if they do some devotional service, they won't be able to maintain it for a long period of time. Because as soon as there's some obstacle, they'll give it up because they don't know why they're doing it. It's not so clear. And as far as the fact they may be absorbed in it and therefore they get a higher taste, but if they don't have any philosophy, what they have is so many other ideas while they're doing their service. If we don't see things in terms of how Krishna sees things, then we'll see things in terms of how everyone else, how other mundane people see things. And the result is they're not really becoming absorbed in their service while they're doing their service, in Krishna consciousness at least, because they have no faith, they have no conception of Krishna. Therefore, ultimately, Prabhupada wanted to train people up to become Brahmins so that they can understand the philosophy and explain it to others so people can actually work in such a way as they become conscious of Krishna. Although in the beginning some stories may be there, but that's really for just stories itself. It's for the less intelligent, because generally when they hear it, they just don't take it very seriously. They feel entertained. It's like previously they used to have movies, and in the movies there always used to be some morality, some purpose, some plot behind the movie, something you're supposed to learn, something benefit you're supposed to get from it. So is that the same nowadays? It's only sex and violence. And maybe during the movie when the people are tired from sex and violence, there's a few minutes of sleeping and eating. But generally they never show very much sleeping, because people, that would be wasting time for the important things of life, namely sex and violence. And a little eating sometimes. So, this type of pastimes is not very conducive towards, obviously, it's animal life. And when people hear stories about Krishna, they won't take it so seriously, but at least they'll become familiar with Krishna. They'll be able to, so when they hear a little philosophy, they won't immediately turn off, thinking that this is ridiculous. Why should I listen to this nonsense? Who's this Krishna anyhow? Who's he to tell me what to do? But they'll relate it. Yeah, he's that guy who's turned into a fish and who swam in the ocean, pretty far out. Let's see, maybe he has something to say that's entertaining too, in this Bhagavad Gita. Or as Muralidhar used to say, we used to go out and distribute, when I went out and distributed books, certain countries, people would look at the book and they according to the color of the book, they imagine that it was like something like brown would be like chocolate, it was a little bit pink, it would be like a strawberry. So they judge the book according to what foods they like. So if they remind them of a food they like, they buy it. Not because they had a deep philosophical interest in reading it, but, they could appreciate the color. It doesn't matter. It's probably... People are all... Everywhere nowadays. Is there any country you've ever been to where people are quite intellectually minded? And if they are, they're speculative, mental speculators. They don't accept anything as truth. They just want to find out all the different varieties of untruth so they can defeat them. So they can go on to the next untruth and chew up the one untruth and then go on to the next untruth and chew it up too, mentally. In any case, here we have Vyasadeva. He's given us Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and that's the best he could do. And he's God, so I think we should accept it. Try to read it, not expect something easier to come along. Everyone's trying to impress that, don't study all this complicated philosophy. I have something easier. I have something better, more systematic, more helpful for the conditioned souls. No, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita is perfect, and therefore Prabhupada and Vyasadeva and our acharyas didn't pretend that they were coming up with something new. They were just saying they're organizing things in a way that would help us understand it more easily. And until we come to the level of acharyas, there's no way we're going to organize our philosophy any better than they've done it. Therefore, we should try to appreciate what they've done and try to understand what they've done and not try to come up with something better than what they've done, especially in our present state of consciousness. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu raised his hand. Yes.
I have a question, but it's not related to today.
Oh, then don't ask it. Probably just heard a lecture that Prabhupada said that someone was asking him a question. He said, I'm going to, the same thing you said. Prabhupada said, don't don't ask the question. You said, otherwise you'll distract from the theme of what we're talking about today. We want to, if you don't want clarification or you don't have some doubts, don't ask the question. Ask that some other time. Otherwise, we'll become deviated from the theme. Anything else? Okay. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande.